good morning, everybody. Thank you, Katia. I'm so glad to be here today and during this conference. So thank you, Katia. Thank you, Peter, for organizing such an incredible conference, and especially thanks to the CUNAL, Qatar National Library. So today we will focus on, I will present for the first time Talaria, a new software to support resource sharing of international communities. This work is a collective work, and we have been working to Talaria together to my colleagues. The other colleagues are Alessandro Tugnoli, Deborah Mazza, Ravi Kahale. They are the development team of Talaria. So I would like to start to focus on what is a resource sharing community. So this is a definition of a resource sharing consortium. And this definition is, we will find it in the next publication, which is one of the products of the Hermes project, Document Delivery and Resource Sharing, Global Perspectives. So in the glossary, the definition of a resource sharing consortium say that it's a formal association of libraries, usually restricted to a geographical area, set number of libraries, type of libraries, or subject interest that is established to develop and implement resource sharing among the members, and thereby improve the services and resources available to the respective target groups. I like to talk about community, resource sharing community, what it is. It's a library consortium, plus it's also a community of knowledge professionals, of librarians, open to collaboration and sharing through the sharing of a set of things, best practices, knowledge, training, experiences, projects. So this is what I call a resource sharing community. Which are the founding pillars of resource sharing communities? There are four. People is the most important thing of a resource sharing community, librarians. Then to have a common policies. These usually are under the frame of bylaws or rules and regulations. What is a bylaws? The bylaws exist to support and to enhance the functioning of the communities. Usually in the bylaw they define the use. The use that ILL content then is defined, and usually library may use ILL content under their country's legislation, and usually they're framed under exceptions of research and education only. Good bylaws provide good processes. Bylaws encapsulate the vision of the community. Also, bylaws guarantees that all members may be involved in the key decision-making of the community. And this is especially important for the less represented libraries, the minorities libraries. So bylaws are all of this. And then third pillar, to have a common technology platform. Usually this is a catalog, a common catalog, a union catalog, and a request system, a system that those libraries use to request document each other. And the set of communication tools, mailing list, website run by the community, meetings and conference, meetings in presence, training courses, surveys to assess how the service is going, how the community is going. So difference between consortium and community, I go quick. So there's not a hierarchical coordination, but the coordinator is more a primus inter pares. It means he's a member of the community at the same level of the other members, but it acts as a coordinator. There's not only shared goals, but shared vision, shared values, mutual trust, not only sharing of ideas as a group, but generation of new ideas as a group. Not only engagement, but empowerment. So, this picture you see comes from my native country, Sicily. I'm from Italy, but I'm from Sicily, actually. I grew up in this landscape. In the country, you can very often see these silos. these silos are very big containers used to produce wine. Sicily produces a lot of wine. And so in the country, you can see these silos. So resource sharing communities are like silos worldwide. So here there are represented the community, resource sharing community we have in the world, the big one, the OCLC one, the American one, then we have the Spanish, the Scandinavian, the Italian, the Turkey, the Chinese, Australian, I mean, all those communities. And so remember the very fancy picture, animated picture that Peter showed on the first day, that all these silos actually are very active inside. So imagine each of these are very active, they are animated. And also yesterday presentation, the kids, you have seen inside this community how much requests, how much sharing inside there. So the problem is that those communities, so their silos, they have very good things inside, very good stuff, like wine, but they're isolated. So there is a very seamless, low connection between one community and another. So this is, in our idea, when we started to do Received, Received can become this. It has been the first experiment of digital resource sharing worldwide. And the Received can actually be those communities, those international communities, which can help to fill the gap between the communities. So this is what we want to build. And now let's come to Hermes project and Talaria. So the project Hermes has been funded by the European program, Erasmus+. It's a project which will last 2 years. It will end in next spring, in spring 2023, and has been funded by the European Union about 200,000 euros. And it's as a partnership, European partnership. CNR, my institution, my library, acts as a coordinator in Italy. And then we have 3 universities, Balaman University in Lebanon, MEF in Turkey, Cantabria in Spain, and IFLA. So these are the partners, but actually the activities, since the project was conceived within the Received group, so inside the scientific committee, we have all the many members of the IFLA, Document Delivery and Resource Sharing section, and other international experts which were involved. They're experts on open science, ILL systems, copyright. So the project Hermes was conceived to reinforce the Received initiative to ensure sustainability a long time and long-lasting impact, so to continue the Received initiative, and also to provide educational institutions high quality, fast and free access to knowledge. So there are 3 aspectual, we call aspected intellectual output. We call intellectual output are deliverable activities that we are carrying out in the project, 3 mainstream of activities, a publication, actually you have an extract of this publication in your conference back, and a new open source software, and training devoted to librarians and for students. So Talaria is one of the intellectual output that will be produced by Hermes. And Talaria are the winged sandal of the Hermes god. So that's why the name, Talaria. And we aim to build the technological platform for the Received community. So of course, we want to, the objective was to improve the existing software that now we are using for Received, to increase, to have a technological platform which will be robust, reliable, scalable, in case the number of libraries increase in time and the number of requests increase. So it has to scalable for this, user-friendly, and also independence from commercial platforms. The software will help to bridge between existing resource-sharing communities and fill the gap. But also, this platform would provide a platform for those libraries which do not have their own resource-sharing national community, and so can come here, can join the Received community and use the platform. fourth objective is to release an open source software. So software will be released as open source, and so each other resource sharing communities can take it, use it, and manage independently. So the software has been designed, developed, and still is ongoing development. Today I will show, will give you the sound of what Talaria is. So for this reason, Talaria is designed to support library communities in their resource sharing management. For instance, the first one who will use Talaria will be the received community that you are going to build. And the second will sure want to use Talaria will be the Italian community. We now are using another version, another software, but we are building Talaria because we want to use it in the future. And as I said before, any other national, regional, any resource sharing communities willing to use as their technological platform. So for this reason, Talaria is designed to be a flexible platform to support different needs and policies of a resource sharing community. So there are some custom configuration. Graphic identity, for instance, will be possible to personalize the logo and the colors of the user interface. Talaria will support different authentication systems, traditional one, legacy authentication system, as well as SAMS-based authentication system, federated authentication. Will support different resource sharing profiles. I mean, there are communities which are completely peer-to-peer community. It means each library is as borrower as well as lender. But there are other community, for instance, received is a community that we are building now. So we have two different profiles. We have a basic profile, libraries which come and become only a borrower. And then there are libraries who want to do more. They want to be borrower and lender, and the volunteer libraries. Talaria will support different policies for recovering the ILL cost. For instance, a community may decide to share documents free of charge, to fulfill requests free of charge, like it is in received. Or there are other communities that apply a free of charge with an imbalanced threshold. I don't go more, but I mean, this is what we use in ILDS. Okay, we provide the libraries. ILDS is a community of about 900 libraries, mainly in Italy, and they provide documents free of charge, but this with an imbalanced threshold. Or they can decide to have a fixed unit cost, for instance, IFRA vouchers. End user management. A community may decide to enable patrons of libraries to request through the system or not. For instance, is received, we are designed received will be the international community. We want to fill the gap between other communities, so there is no need that user for end user management of requests. So we will not set up these features. And catalog, of course, because each community in the world has its own catalog, so this probably will be the more difficult part to integrate in Talaria. Talaria is a responsive design, some about technicalities. As a responsive design is developed using this progressive web app. It means it seems that you are using an app, even in mobile devices, but actually is web browsing. The architecture is completely API-based, and it supports multi-language. Now the system we are developing Talaria, there are already 2 languages supported, Italian and English, and by the end of the project we want to translate in Spanish, and this is to demonstrate that the platform will be open, and of course for received, to support as more languages as possible, Portuguese or French in the future or whatever, so we'll help inclusion of libraries worldwide. So we have multilingual support. We have a user-friendly, we're trying to design a user-friendly user interface based on visual communication, and the software architecture is based only on free and open source technologies. So just to give you some screenshot, will be the home of the received for the received. So this is Talaria for the received communities. Will be the home page of received, and here it will be possible to search for a reference without need for login, and here you can input an identifier like a DOI, a PMID, or words of a title, and the system will search or will import a bibliographic citation from external sources. And we use for external sources the API of the open access button, and also not only they are able to retrieve the bibliographic metadata, but also those API are able to find an open access version if they are available, and to provide it, and to provide direct access. So in case actually you are not happy with the open access version, or there is no open access version available, it's possible to continue the request, and then you have to log in. And this, once you log in, actually the same search box to enter a new request you can find when you log in. And this is, again, search for DOI. And when you search for DOI, this is what you find. The bibliographic metadata are filled, and a new version, if available, is immediately accessible. The bibliographic reference is entirely important. And this is how it will be displayed once you have saved the request. This is the main panel of Talaria. So we have a menu, my libraries, where there are configuration of the library. Then the main panels are the borrowing and lending. Borrowing are the requests I need to send to other libraries. So this is the borrowing pending request. This one is a new request just saved, and this is the bibliographic metadata in a short notation, and it's possible on those metadata to modify, to search for in any moment. Will be possible to launch the search for an open access version. In case identifier are not present, it will be possible to complete with the ISSN at least. And in the future, it will be this locate holding function. If a library has a link resolver, it will be possible to link to the link resolver and to check if that item is in your holding. And so if you can open the request or send the request to other libraries. And in this other example, in this panel pending request, this is a request which has not been fulfilled, and in this case, it will be possible to repeat the request and send it again, or to archive it as unfilled. Now, a request can be sent to a single library or to all libraries. So now, just a quick, I think there are different models of phishing and of resource sharing. Fly phishing model. The fisherman throws the hook and someone takes the bite. The fisherman doesn't know which fish will do it, which fish will bite it. So this is the received requesting model. A received, which is a request which is sent to received, is seen by all the libraries. And the volunteers scan the request and say, okay, I have this, I will provide it. I will satisfy that request. So this is the fly phishing model. There's another model, the Tonara, which is the Tonara. It's a millenary system for fishing tuna, which is very common in Italy, in Sicily, especially in Sicily. So fishermen, when tuna pass a certain period of the year, when the tuna pass, fishermen build very complex nets to convey tunas. And at the end, they convey then all the tunas, they're combined all together in this room, which is called the death room, and all the fishermen are ready to eat one fish and kill it. And this is very cruel and bloody oppression. The matanza is called, the matanza. This, the final, when they catch the tuna. So this is the requesting model. The Tanara, we know resource sharing. We need to build very complex infrastructures. We need to have catalogs to know where library may expose the holdings and catalogs may be searched through, catalogs to expose and to share the holdings, and can be searched through a protocol, searching protocols, Z3950. Okay, so we need to build all this infrastructure, and then we can be able actually to send a request to the library, which has it. So there are two different models. So Talaria wants to support both of them. And what happens? So when a request is sent to all libraries, so when a request is sent to one library, it's the usual way you fulfill it. But what happens when a request is sent to all? We've called this the Talaria orphaned request. The metaphor is a community bulletin board. So libraries pass by and pick up a post-it from the bulletin board. It means the post-it, when you pick up and take home with you, the other libraries will not see it anymore. And this is the idea. So the orphan request will contain all those requests that are visible to all libraries. As for normal requests, it is necessary that the library says, okay, accept a request to supply it. And after one library has accepted an orphan request, the other libraries will no longer be able to see it or fulfill it. So this is the orphan request in the landing panel. And this is just a list of requests. And the library has to accept it. And at that point, it goes to the pending request of that library. And the other, and disappear from here. So once a library accepted and goes to the pending request, landing pending request of that library, then fulfillment will be as usual. So Talaria supports a set of delivery methods. Secure electronic delivery, that means it's embedded into the system, the possibility to upload a file and to make it available to the requesting library in a secure way, or electronic delivery external method like article exchange or URL. Will be possible to send a URL or traditional mail or fax. And the copyright state form has to be accepted before to provide the document. Or the other not fulfillment reason, of course, are the usual one. So other features are supported by Talaria, the patron-initiated requests. It means the possibility for a library to manage the request of the end user. But this will be available only when it has been enabled in the initial setup of Talaria. Also, Talaria supports user roles. It means the library operators manage the resource sharing workflow, and they can be authorized for multiple roles, for instance, borrowing operators, lending operators, manager of the library. And they may have multiple roles at the same time, in the same or in multiple libraries, depending on their tasks. So where are we now? We have been tested the first alpha version of Talaria. We are going to improve and to hopefully to have a better version by autumn. We have tested in summer. By autumn, we want to test a new version that we call the beta version, and this will be tested in the Hermes training group with librarian, with the volunteers librarian we received, and we plan to have Talaria 1.0 version will be released by the end of the year, so that in 2023 we may have start using the new software. So in conclusion, the received service started as a pilot project run by and dependent upon volunteers, based on the great digitization work carried out over the years by the American libraries. The intention was to continue this service for as long as access to library collections was restricted in any part of the world. However, we have come to the creation of a shared tool that can be easily used to connect libraries around the world and fill gaps left by existing resource sharing communities. So this is our Hermes project contact at the Hermes website. And if you want to contact us, just use this email. If you want to receive the Hermes newsletter, please just send a request to us.